Joining me now is Democratic Congressman John Garamendi of California. Good to have you here, sir.
Always.
How are you thinking about the tariffs right now?
I think the president really laid an egg here when he just went out and said 25% and 15% without any clarification. Clearly, there are problems in the steel and aluminum industry, but even more important, that they be very, very targeted solutions to those problems. Apparently, and hopefully, the president will dial back, be targeted. If the problem is China, and we believe it is, then you have to go directly at China. Obviously, that's a problem for Boeing and other countries. We don't need a trade war, but we need to have a very clear understanding that dumping steel, dumping aluminum is simply not going to take place.
Okay. Well, then if you want to make sure that you accomplish that, right, don't you want to have a little bit of leverage in all this? And doesn't the threat of a tariff actually give you that leverage that you need?
Well, you may very well need a tariff. I'm not saying that you don't ever use a tariff. It has been used in the past, but there are other mechanisms that can be used to restrict the importation of material that is being dumped on the U.S. market from subsidized companies, and certainly that's the China situation.
So I'm just trying to understand your position here, because it sounds like, you don't like tariffs in principle, but you think that they could actually work in this particular case, and that we've got a lot of work to do when it comes to some of these countries that are taxing our goods or dumping goods here in the U.S.?
I wouldn't say a tariff is a bad word. I'd say a tariff is a tool to deal with unfair competition in which a country is subsidizing, in this case, steel, and then dumping that into the American market. And so as a tool to address that particular problem, yes. Is it the only tool? No. Can you use multiple tools? Absolutely. There are different ways you can go about it.
So what else would you do, Congressman? What else would you do?
Well, that's what trade negotiations are about. Your tariff is a way of using leverage. That's appropriate. But again, the president came out with a 25% across the board, any steel, anywhere, and same with aluminum. Was that particularly useful? And I don't think so. I think I should have gone at it in a very targeted way.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe it was useful. Maybe we don't know exactly what went into the negotiations behind the scenes for him to be meeting with Kim Jong-un. Maybe Kim Jong-un came out and said, hey, I'm gonna pursue this meeting, etc., because the Chinese were trying to get him to do that. I mean, part of what we need to be able to do, I would think, via these tariffs and via trade in our economy, is use that economic power. We are the biggest economy in the world. If there's going to be a trade war, we're going to win it.
Well,
but I like the idea of using economic pressure, Congressman, as opposed to
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Okay.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Absolutely. You'd prefer to use economic pressure, and certainly sanctions. North Korea is a piece of that puzzle. At the same time, the North Korean situation is not a steel situation. It happens to be a nuclear and a very dangerous situation on the Korean Peninsula. Going back to steel and aluminum and tariffs, yes, the threat of a tariff is a useful leverage. Certainly that is available to the president. Is he using it wisely? I hope so. That's what trade negotiations are all about. At the same time, be aware that your country that you're trying to reduce their importations into the United States, you want to be careful that you don't get yourself into a tit-for-tat trade war in which there are losers on both sides. Nevertheless, we do know that China is affecting the international steel market by dumping steel all across the globe, and that is affecting the United States as well as Europe and other countries. And so China needs to be aware. They need to be brought back into a viable World Trade Organization in which they are not cheating.
Exactly. Hear, hear. We're in agreement. Congressman,
you got it.
Good to see you. Thank you.